We've been waiting 10 years for this? This?
May the gods forgive me.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel where I talk about interesting stuff 2 months ago. No, but seriously, I just had to talk a little bit about Final Fantasy 15. It's driving me nuts. I don't know if there will be a full review or not, because I'll go mad if I talk about this game more. But let's start this antecedent perception. Let's start with the good stuff first. Combat in this game is fucking amazing. Sure, the camera is pretty bad, but that's just what Japanese developers like to do. I'm talking about you, From Software. I really enjoy battling in this game, and it's pretty important in an RPG. In Final Fantasy 15, weapons, equipments, and armor have all been made really simple. You have one outfit, one accessory, and only Noctis has up to 4 different weapons. Oh, and by the way, can we talk about how stupid some names are? Yedoras Aldercap? Gladiolus Amicizia? What the fuck is this? Viv? Viv? Slashing at enemies with a sword or a lance is satisfying, but the thing I enjoy the most is dodging. When the prompt shows up, you do this really cool dodge, and you have the possibility of doing a counterattack. Also, how cool is throwing your weapon and teleporting there? That is some dope shit. A lot of games suffer from the problem of having really big enemies, and not communicating this sense of scale, or the battle isn't just fun. The first gigantic battle you have is against this titan, and it feels really good beating him. In fact, you don't even kill him. I mean, come on, he's a fucking titan. You just destroy his arm, which is much more believable. From what I've seen so far, the world in Final Fantasy 15 is one of the most interesting places I have seen in a while. The mix of modern technology with magic, swords, and fantastic animals can seem real, and I prefer it to a standard fantasy world. In fact, I really like that Square Enix created this Final Fantasy 15 universe, and made an anime, which was pretty bad, and a movie to further expand the lore. I get why people didn't like this, as it seemed that to get the full package you also had to buy the movie. Well, it kinda is like that, but I don't mind doing if it expands the lore and the CGI is fucking amazing. Are these all the things I like? No, there are other million things, and I could talk for hours about the attention to details, the incredible lighting and weather effects, the animations, the particle effects, the character models. Visually, overall this game is fantastic, but there are some things that bewilder me a bit. Some textures aren't a high enough resolution, and on PS4 there are some serious issues of frame timing. Basically, the game runs at constant 30 frames per second, but some frames start a bit too soon or too late and it seems laggy, and I noted this especially in the forest areas with lots of vegetation. Fortunately, this doesn't happen in battles, or at least it isn't noticeable with all the action going on. But now it's time to sit down and talk about the negative stuff. When this game wasn't released yet and I was debating about buying it, I thought to myself, what does this game have to offer to keep me invested in playing? Combat? Check. Beautiful and stunning world? Check. Story? Well, I thought to myself, this is Final Fantasy, so of course it has a great plot. Not the best one in the world maybe, but still enjoyable. Well, I was kinda wrong. Of course, take this with a grain of salt, but to where I played, around chapter 8, nothing really captured my attention that much. Also, how the narrative progresses and how it explains things is a bit inconsistent. To me, it's like chapter 1, 3 and 5 were pretty bad, while 2, 4 and 6 were decent. One bad and one good chapter, and I sure hope it doesn't continue like this. I want an epic tale, damn it. You're the king and you're supposed to reclaim your throne, not going in hotels in cities when there are no enemies, while the rest of the land is filled with imperial soldiers. Going around camping and driving your car isn't my definition of epic. And don't get me started with the car. This is the most stupid part of the game. I know that there's fast travel once you've already been to a location, but when you can't fast travel, you have to use the regalia. You have two options. You either don't do anything but wait and listen to the old Final Fantasy music, which I appreciate, or you drive. And I say drive because you just push a button and you can't even go off-road. What is the point of driving if it is so limiting? And what is another fundamental thing in RPGs, and that you can't get wrong as it is a very known problem? Side quest. And this game manages to fuck that up too. I swear, there isn't a single mission that doesn't involve going somewhere, killing a monster or grabbing an item and returning. And if that's the only thing that makes your game long, that's bad. Music is so important in games, and Final Fantasy doesn't nail that quite right. The majority of songs composed for the game are really great, but I think they don't adapt to some scenes well, because most of the music was composed way before the real development of the game began. But the music you get in towns or stops is just so awful. It seems stock music you can get for $1 on the internet. In the end, this is somewhat different from the usual Final Fantasy games, and it really could seem a new RPG genre of its own, mixing action elements to JRPGs and adding a flavor of its own. This is definitely an evolution to the franchise, and I actually prefer this more modern yet streamlined formula to something seen in Final Fantasy XIII, where they tried to mix up the formula a bit but ultimately failed. While I do appreciate the realism, the whole trip of a lifetime with your friends and doing activities such as camping, eating and other stuff, I think ultimately the long development cycle and really working on the game, as we know only started in 2014, hurt the game, as some parts are really top notch. It seems I can't get enough of this game though, and I want to play it even more, but all the minor annoyances are holding me back. Anyway, I look forward to enjoying myself more and delving deeper in this game, so in the end hopefully I will look back at it with a more positive idea. See you in the next video.
Stand by me, oh stand by me, oh stand now, stand by me, stand by me. If the sky that we look upon